Hi, we're Ideal Shoe Co. Today we're going to talk about our strategic plans from years 13 to 20. I'm Kyle Fisher.
I'm David Kowal.
And I'm Deanna Langland.
The agenda for today is to start off by talking about a global footwear, years 11 and 12, D's Kicks, years 11 and 12, followed by Ideal Shoe Co., years 13 to 20, our exit strategy, as well as our plan, implementation, and results for each year. We will start off by talking about a global footwear. Dave and I were part of this team for years 11 and 12. As you can see, our plan was to have a strong market share in the internet segment, try to achieve a 20% market share in all regions, and achieve private label bids. We also wanted to achieve a great image rating. In the internet segment, our plan was to instill a low price of $65. We had an industry average of 5-star SQ rating, as well as 200 models for our customers to choose from. We increased our advertising expense to $30,000, and this was an industry leader in North America and Europe, Africa. In the wholesale market, we had a below average wholesale price. Again, we had a 5-star SQ rating, a good selection of 200 shoes. We maintained a $30,000 in advertising expense, had great retailer support, and we utilized as many outlets as we could. In the private label, we tried to focus on all 4 regions. We had a bid of $26 in each region and an SQ rating of 4. Here are our results. As you can see, our EPS was $1.07, our return was 7.1%, our stock price was $16.59, we had an image rating of 77 and a credit rating of C. As you can see, here are our market share results. And you can see we did maintain a great market share in the private label in Europe, Africa, and Latin America.
For year 12, we wanted to make some adjustments, so we increased our price to $70 in the internet segment, and we decided to keep our SQ rating and around the industry average, which was 5 stars. We stayed true with our status quo of 200 models, and we did increase our advertising expense, became above average. In the wholesale segment, we had a below average wholesale price in 3 markets: North America, Europe and Africa, and Asia Pacific. However, in Latin America, our wholesale price was above average. Our industry average SQ rating again was 5 stars. We had 200 miles in all regions, and we had above average advertising, even though it decreased to $27,500. We increased our retail support to $425 across North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific, and we increased it to $400 in Latin America. We decreased our retail hours utilized was decreased from 2260 to 2260 in North America and 2276 in Europe, Africa. However, it did increase in Asia Pacific to 1024 and 1024 in Latin America. As far as the private label segment, we decided to focus on all regions. We set our bid at North America at $25.50, in Europe at $25.75, and in Asia at $24, and in Latin America at $36, which is fairly high. Above industry required SQ rating, which was 4 stars. Our year 12 results, you can see they were not very good. Our earnings per share was 77 cents, our return was 5%. Our stock price was less than $10, our credit rating remained at a C, and our image rating was a 7.
Hi, I'm Deanna Langland, and for years 11 and 12, I was on the team D's Kicks. For year 11 and 12, our plan was to keep production costs low, keep advertising high, along with celebrity appeal. For year 11, our implementation strategy for the internet segment was to have a below industry average price, an industry average S&Q rating of 5 stars, a good selection of models, and an above average advertising expense. Our wholesale market strategy was to have an above average wholesale price, an industry average S&Q rating of 5 stars, a good selection of models, and above average advertising expense, remain our retailer support, and also remain at our retailer outlets used. For the private label segment, our focus was on the North American market with a bid of $24.20 and above industry required S&Q rating of 5 stars. Our results for year 11 were an EPS of $3.88, a return on equity of 22.7%, a stock price of $66.54, a credit rating of A, and an image rating of 68. For the market share results, as you can see, we had our private label at 82% in the North America market, with an internet market share of 18 to basically 17%, and in the wholesale, a 17% to 13%. For year 12, our implementation strategy in the internet segment was below average price, an industry average S&Q rating of 5 stars, a good selection of models, and an above average advertising expense. For the wholesale market, we had an above average wholesale price, an industry average S&Q rating of 5 stars, a good selection of models, and above average advertising expense, remain and decreased retailer support, and retail outlets utilized also decreased and increased in certain markets. For the private label segment, we focused on the North American region with a bid price of $22.99. We remained above average required S&Q rating of 5 stars. Our results for year 12 were an EPS of $3.73. Our return on equity was 17.8% with a stock price of $52.95. Our credit rating was an A and our image rating was 67%. For year 12, our market share results were around 17 to 15% in the internet segment, around 19 to 12% in the wholesale region, and with a private label bid also in North America with 75.4%. Beginning year 13, Ideal Shoe Co. was formed with the same vision and mission statements in mind. We came together to take control of the market through our implementation strategies. To begin, in year 13 to 15, our strategic plan began with a vision statement. The vision of Ideal Shoe Co. is to produce the world leader in selling shoes at an affordable cost. Our mission was to produce high-quality shoes at an affordable cost. Ideal Shoe Co. seeks to provide a great financial opportunity to our investors and a great working environment to our employees. We seek to sell shoes worldwide with growth in all markets. Our objectives for year 13 to 15 were to have low production costs, maintain a quality image, have a high return on equity, maintain a profit, have a competitive market share, and achieve high celebrity appeal. Our strategy was to have majority of the market share in North America and Asia, to obtain private label bids, increase our market share to Europe and Latin America, keep our production costs low and a competitive shoe quality, increase plant capacity in Latin America, and receive loans from banks. Our functional area strategies were in production to have a low cost, an average/competitive shoe quality, reduce shipping costs and tariff rate, in marketing to have high marketing costs and utilize all retail markets and support. In finance, we wanted to finance our plans with loans, maintain a low default risk, and have a good credit rating. In HR, we wanted employee engagement and incentives for shoe production. Our SWOT analysis began with our strengths in low production costs, marketing, and earnings per share. Our weaknesses were ending cash, meeting demand, image rating, and our European production. In opportunities, we had opportunities to increase market share, up and down exchange rates, changing tariffs, and Latin American plant to build, and celebrity appeal. Our threats were in the German companies, an increase in shoe models, cost of superior materials, and exchange rates/tariffs. Our market objectives were 50% in the private label, 50% in the internet, 16% in North America, 16% in Europe, 16% in Asia, 16% in Latin America, and an overall of 21% of market share. Our primary targets began with North America, then Asia, then the private label bid, then Europe, Latin America, and finishing off with the internet market.
For year 13, our implementation strategy for the internet market was to have an internet price of $74.20. We had an industry average of 4-star SQ rating, and we kept our selection of 200 models. We had below average advertising expenses, but we still did have a large amount. In the wholesale market, we had above average wholesale price. We maintained a 4-star SQ rating. We had 200 models except for North America and Latin America, which had an increase in shoes. Again, we had below average advertising expense, but we did have a good share of money going to advertising. Our retailer support and our retailer's outlet utilized were both increasing from the years before. In year 13, our private label strategy was to focus on North America and Asia Pacific. As you can see, our bids were $22.99 in North America and $22.98 in Asia Pacific. Again, we had an above average industry required SQ rating of 4 stars.
As you can see, our year 13 results were as follows. Our earnings per share was at $3.50. Our return was at 14.8%. Our stock price was at $53. Our credit rating was at a solid A-. Our image rating was a little low at 67. We paid a dividend of $1.50, and we repurchased 275 shares of stock. As far as our market share results, we did very well in the private label bids in Asia Pacific. As you see, we got 88.1%. However, our internet market share was very low across all regions, from 8 to as low as 5%. And also, in Europe, our wholesale market share was very low at 8.9%. Here we have graphs detailing for the internet segments on the left and the wholesale segment on the right, detailing how many models we have versus our SQ rating. Group I in the internet segment is right here, as you can see, kind of sandwiched in between everybody. As far as the wholesale segment, Group I is again more to the right than some of these groups over here, also right in the middle. As you can see, in the Europe-Africa market, we were also very well within the average. We were right here as far as the internet segment, and as far as the wholesale segment, we were right here, doing a little below Group A, but still above some other groups. In Asia Pacific, we were again sandwiched right in the middle in the internet segment. As far as the wholesale segment, almost every group was right on top of each other. And finally, in the Latin American market, in the internet segment, almost all companies were towards the top, as we were right in the middle. And in the wholesale segment, most groups were to the right, had a lot of models, and we were right here. And now Kyle will talk to you about our year 14 implementation.
In the internet segment for year 14, we decided to decrease our price. We decreased it to $69 per shoe. We maintained our 5-star SQ rating and 200 models selection. We increased our advertising expenses to $41,500, and this was an industry leader in North America and Asia Pacific. In the wholesale market, we had prices above and below the average price. We had a 5-star SQ rating, and as you can see, we had a good selection of models available. We increased in North America as well as Asia Pacific and a little bit in Latin America. We had a below average advertising expense, but we did increase it to $41,500. Retailer support remained the same except for in Latin America, which was increased to $400. Across all markets, our outlets utilized also decreased. In the private label, we focused on Asia Pacific and Latin America. As you can see, the Asia Pacific bid was $22.50, and the Latin American bid was $26.49. We had an industry-required SQ rating of 3 stars. Dave will now speak of our results in year 14.
We saw great success in year 14. Our earnings per share skyrocketed, nearly tripled to $9.63. Our return also nearly tripled to 35%. Our stock price was at $159.48. We saw a perfect credit rating of an A+, an image rating of 72. We increased our dividend by $1 to $2.50, and we repurchased 534 shares of stock. As far as our market share results, as you can see, by far our biggest success was in the private label in Latin America. Across the internet and wholesale market, we were pretty much the same, ranging from 13 to 11% in the internet and 15 to 14 in the wholesale. In North America, Europe and Africa, Asia Pacific, and Latin America, you can largely see across the board in both the internet and wholesale market that we were largely the same as the year before, sandwiched right together in both high-end in price and SQ rating and miles produced, as long as with the other teams.